Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the invitation to be here today with you on the 30th Annual Economist Government Roundtable. I would also like to thank the organizing committee for placing connectivity at the heart of today's discussion, not simply as a way of linking regions, communities, or countries, but as a foundation for resilience, economic security, and long-term prosperity. Across Europe, and particularly in Southeast Europe, connectivity has become a strategic asset. The past few years, from the pandemic to the war against Ukraine and now recently the crisis in the Middle East, have fundamentally changed the way we think about transport. Transport networks are no longer simply corridors for moving people and goods. They are essential to Europe's security, resilience, and competitiveness. Today, we are responsible for safeguarding strategic economic arteries, vital supply chains, and routes that must be ready for rapid military mobility. And yet, we must also be honest. Much of our infrastructure is updated and, in many cases, I would say even outdated. Critical links are still missing, and these gaps reduce our competitiveness and weaken Europe's resilience, and that has to change. That's exactly what we are doing today at the European Commission. The Memorandum of Understanding, for example, that we signed between Greece, Bulgaria, and Romania last December has laid the foundation for the creation of a vertical rail and road corridor linking the three countries, and it is more than an infrastructure project. It is linking the Black Sea and the Aegean Sea, moving from national planning towards genuine regional connectivity, improving mobility, supporting jobs, and strengthening Europe's resilience. And of course, besides the competitiveness and the cohesion, connectivity is also crucial for tourism and for security, making cross-border travel as smooth as possible, in particular by train, will be one of the main pillars of the first ever European strategy for tourism that we are preparing and I will present this year in autumn. Visitors increasingly expect smooth journeys across Europe, and that's what we are delivering. We are upgrading our train infrastructure, creating the high-speed rail for Europe. It is a vision of connecting all major cities in a metro concept with high-speed rail, and of course, at the same time, through regulation, we are upgrading the way that passengers will be able to book their tickets. Connectivity has also increasingly important security dimension, and I would like to say a couple of thoughts on this particular topic today. Our closer cooperation comes at a time of heightened geopolitical tension. For many years, Europe had unfortunately placed security in the background. That is no longer the world we live in. Transport policy and security policy can no longer be treated separately. Our ability to move forces, goods, energy across our territory is essential to keeping Europe secure and resilient. And the link from Thessaloniki to Bucharest through Bulgaria and then onward to Moldova and Ukraine is rapidly becoming one of Europe's most important strategic arteries. And this is exactly the reason why I placed it at the very front of our policies in the European Commission. But our ports are equally important. As Europe's gateway to the world, they must never become weak points, whether through supply chain disruptions, cyber attacks, or hybrid threats. And that is why our EU port strategy that I presented 3 months ago promotes investment in ports, shipyards, and transport infrastructure that serve both commercial and military purposes. This includes upgrading ports to accommodate military vessels and equipment, but also improving rail, road, inland waterway connections between ports and inland military logistic hubs. It also means making our ports more resilient against cyber attacks, organized crime, and disruptions to global supply chains. And alongside this, our EU industrial maritime strategy presented will strengthen Europe's maritime base while reinforcing resilience, dual-use capabilities, and Europe's economic security. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to leave you with one final thought. Connectivity is no longer an objective itself. It is the pathway to economic security, to resilience, and to prosperity. The Baltic Sea, Black Sea, Aegean Sea corridor that I mentioned earlier is already strengthening Europe's eastern flank. And at the same time, we do not stop here. We are currently upgrading using approximately 100 billion euros military projects, including road, rail, tunnels, bridges, ports, airports, in order to be able to move swiftly equipment, military mobility equipment, if needed. What today could take us up to months, if we want to move military mobility from west to east, will be happening in a few days. And of course, in the years ahead, connectivity and transport should become the backbone of stronger partnerships in our neighborhoods and with our trusted global partners. That will diversify our supply chains, strengthen Europe's competitiveness, and reinforce Europe's position in an increasingly contested world. Because today, ladies and gentlemen, transport policy is no longer simply about moving goods and people. It is about shaping Europe's future. Thank you.